It's time for Normalville. It's time for Normalville. It's time for Normalville. Gonna get a little crazy like you know we will.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Abnormal Hour, episode number 17, episode number 1 for 2021.
Woo.
This is my partner,
Frank Gilderbrandt. Hey.
and this is actually not only is it the first of 2021, but you know, this was right after our last holiday episode leading into Christmas and everything.
So a very long break.
Very long break. Did you get anything cool for Christmas or the holidays?
Pardon me?
Did you get any cool gifts for the holidays or anything like that?
Hey, something cool was the best hand-me-down gift ever. Let me show you. My wife has passed on her dad's moccasins for me to wear. They're like 50 years old, right?
Wow.
They're as old as the hills, comfy, they're leather, they're the real deal, right? So pretty special.
Fantastic. That's really cool. I had my sister sent me a gift that came in just yesterday in the mail because it got mailed from the States. Northern Illinois University. It's my alma mater. I asked for an NIU sweatshirt, and this is what she got me. So thank you, Shelly. Really happy about that. I love it.
The Huskies.
The Huskies, baby. So.
Everybody's Husky there. Even the women.
Okay. Midwestern women, you know. No. I didn't say that.
No.
My partner. So cool. But as with each show, the very first segment that we do is rolling the blast of the past. We look at our previous whiteboard and then the cartoon that came from that.
Let's go. Welcome back, folks. Here we are at the last whiteboard from the last vacation we had from the last year. Whiteboard number 2. And we went Christmas theme, right? And we were wondering like what to do. And when in doubt, we go monsters.
We love movie monsters.
We love monsters.
Old stuff, pop culture.
Yeah. So you can't go wrong with werewolves. So we went werewolves and the kids all getting squeaky toys.
And just because everyone who has a dog or a cat or a pet that has squeaky toys, you know what a pain that is. Now imagine if you had 3 kids that were part wolf playing with the squeaky toys. So the whiteboard, and then this was the final.
There we go.
Just had to give them squeaky toys for Christmas. I love this. I really do.
We are unique, you know.
But the cartoons didn't stop here. So this was from the whiteboard, but it being the holidays, we had a second cartoon that was an older idea that we just had never completed up until the holiday. Frank, do you remember what that is?
No, it's been a while. You got me there.
A while being 2 weeks when we put it on social media, but you know, when you get older, that's what happens. Anyway, here we go.
Right. Yeah, that's an oldie from.
Yeah, we came up with that one, I think, early in the summer, you know, like when it was still.
I don't know. We might have. Yeah, that was early on in 2020 when we came up with that one.
We figured out how funny would it be, you know, like how many kids always want a pony for Christmas. And imagine now if you got the pony and you lived in an apartment complex. So this is what we came up with, which I think is pretty great. So.
Yep. Again, very unique.
Happens every Christmas. I put this out, and a friend of mine who is a horse lover immediately shot it out to all her friends, and it was pretty cool. So,
Oh, nice. Welcome back, folks. And we'll go from the whiteboard right to our first news story.
Frank, share with us today's first news story.
Okay, today's news story. Now, I wrote this down a little while ago, but it's not that old. It's, I think it took place early December. So they had a contest for America's fastest dog. This is the American Kennel Club. So down in Orlando, Florida, they held the inaugural, sure. And so first of this type of competition, and the executive VP, Doug Lundgren. What was that?
Frank, as you were saying,
I was introducing the executive VP of the Kennel Club. His name is Doug Lundgren. He came up with the idea
Dolph
for the
Lundgren?
competition. Ljungren.
Do you know who Dolph Lundgren is, right?
Well, it's Doug.
Sounded like Dolph Lundgren.
So Dolph's brother that
shall
loves
destroy
dogs.
you.
The smaller brother.
Right on.
Yeah, so he was watching his dogs chase after squirrels. And he's literally out loud to himself. He says, how fast can this dog run? Ta-da, light bulb moment. Let's have a contest. Apparently the dogs don't run as fast as the squirrels. They never catch them. So, to give premise for the competition, everybody knows about greyhounds. Greyhounds in the race, which is not a good idea, but they've been clocked at 43 miles an hour. Crazy fast. And to compare, how fast do you think Usain Bolt has run? Like miles per hour? Give a guess. He's nowhere near a greyhound, of course, but.
No. 22, 25 miles an hour?
Yeah, you're close. 28.
Wow.
He has run 28 miles an hour. Crazy. Even smaller breeds can be surprisingly fast. They have a competition in fastest breed as well as fastest dog.
Mm-hmm.
So a Pekingese was clocked at 13 miles an hour. A Pekingese. You're just picturing the sound in your head as it's running. How can that not be cartoonish, right? So yeah, stuff like that goes on for the breeds, right? And then the all-out competition for which is the fastest dog. And not a purebred, it's a mix, and the dog is called Felan, which in Irish means like wolf dog, right? So wolf dog is kind of the main of its genetics, right? It's a 4-year-old rescue dog. She did the 100-yard dash in 6.34 seconds. Pretty fast dog.
That is very
beating
fast.
out 130 competitors.
Wow.
So now Felan has this year's title of America's fastest dog. Pretty cool.
Very cool.
What's your news story for today?
So my news story for today is a former Mercedes-Benz factory worker from Spain wreaked havoc on his employers after being fired just before the new year. The 38-year-old man employed at the factory since 2016 stole a backhoe from a work site and used it to destroy 50 brand new vans. Wow. Here's the kicker, Frank. The backhoe was taken from a construction site that was 21 kilometers or 13 miles away from the factory. So he actually caused damage to public roads just trying to get to the car lot. It says here he also tried to break into the assembly line, which would have wreaked even more havoc. but he was unsuccessful. The event took place at night when the factory was inactive, so no one was injured. But guess how much the damage is estimated for this one?
I don't know. $500,000. It's a lot of damage, right?
$3.1 million.
$3.1 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't try that at home, kids.
Don't do that at home, kids.
Don't do that at home. So with that, we now go into our very first whiteboard of the day.
Okay, folks, here we are at whiteboard number 1. We did take a bit of a break, me and Alex discussing, and we were going with the theme of guy gets fired and he caused a lot of destruction. But what if we rarely stick to a theme on anything? We always morph into something else. So we have a workplace, and the workplace is a practical joke factory. They make all things practical joke wise. And then imagine what goes on in their lunchroom.
And instead of practical jokes at a practical joke factory, I think it should be daily life.
Right.
Daily life.
Daily life in a practical joke factory. Yeah.
And then we could put like lunchroom or something. Oh yeah, dude, that's just...
There we go.
Daily life at the practical joke factory. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
This is good. That's awesome, man. Good job, Frank. I like that. I think that's pretty great. Daily life at the practical joke factory. And maybe we should, I just even thought of this. We'll have to make a note. You could do like days since last injury, 0. 0 days interest free, injury free on the wall.
I love it. Days since last injury, 0.
That's awesome. Yep, I think it's good. Which now brings us to our next section, today's expert advice.
And now, expert advice from the expert.
Okay, Alex, what is your expert advice for today?
So today's expert advice, as you guys know, or maybe don't know, I'm a surfer. I lived in California for 12 years. So when you surf in places like California, or literally anywhere other than a tropical island like, Hawaii or Costa Rica, places like that, it gets cold, especially in the winter. So the surfboard is your first major piece of equipment, but the next investment you need to make if you're surfing California and places like that is a wetsuit. A full body wetsuit.
Nice. Full body, keeps you dry inside. They should be called a dry suit, shouldn't it?
Well, no, interesting you should say that, because there are dry suits and then there's the wetsuit. So the dry suit is a lot of winter guys that will surf, in Canada, things like that. It keeps you watertight and dry. A wetsuit, on the other hand, lets water in. But what it does is it traps the water between you and your body heat keeps you warm. So that's why it's called a wetsuit. So when you're in this, you're going to get
Nice.
wet,
See?
but you will stay warm.
Now we are educated. That's why it's called a wetsuit.
That's why it's called a wetsuit. Now, wetsuits for scuba divers go very thick, like 8 millimeters, 12 millimeters, really thick, because you're going under the water. You're doing like, 2-3 fathoms down. It gets exponentially cold as you go further down. These wetsuits typically come in 3 and 4 millimeter sizes. So this is called a 4.3, and the others are a 3.2. Can you guess why there's 2 numbers attached to those wetsuits?
Is it like difference for sleeve and body and such, or what?
You're kind of on the right track. So this is a 4.3. So what this means is at the core and all the places where you need to have a lot of warmth, it's 4 millimeters.
Right.
But by your armpits and your legs where you need flexibility, it's only 3. So they kind of, so it's cut in like slices and pieces. You can see the stitching.
Oh, yeah.
So here on the bottom would be 3 and on the
3.
top would be a 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they want to keep you mobile. Now, when you have a scuba suit, the whole thing is just super thick because you're not doing much, right? You're just kind of like pedaling along. But that's why you get like a 4.3 or a 3.2. So the full suit is your kind of next big thing to get. And then if you really start surfing in the winter and really start enjoying it, another thing you might want to do is get booties because your feet get cold. If you think about it, when you're sitting on that board, your feet are just dangling in the water. And this is the next most important piece of equipment after your wetsuit is to get the wetsuit booties. And these are typically 4 millimeters thick. That's usually what they come in. Don't buy a used wetsuit online or anything like that. Try these things on. They're a pain in the butt to get on and off, but every wetsuit fits differently and you want to be comfortable because you're spending hours out there. So you got to get there's some that they'll be called like you just have a large, like that's a straight large. It'll be an LS, which is large shorts. You have shorter appendages, but a wider mid-set. So these are the things that take, LT, large, tall, longer, skinnier guys. All of these things really come into play. It's important because you don't want things bunching up on you. I also, because I've been surfing for so long, I have wetsuit gloves, which not a lot of people like, but I love them because especially when it's cold out. And then I went so far as to get the final piece, which is the hoodie. You put this thing on, it covers your face. I never got into it. I tried it like 3 times. What I didn't like about it is the water would get kind of trapped in my ear and it was kind of uncomfortable, but it gives you a little, sun visor. So you get a little more limited the more stuff you put on, but it's also keeping you out there. If you're out there and you get cold, how long are you going to be out in the water versus,
Yeah.
So
Cool.
There you go.
Thank you for that expert advice.
You're welcome, my man. And that leads us into today's joke of the day.
Okay, Alex, what is your fantastic joke of the day?
Joke of the day. So, Frank, what do you get when you cross a bear and a mountain lion?
What do you get when you cross a bear and a mountain lion?
Killed. You get killed.
That is true.
You're not walking away from that.
Yeah, you don't want to cross them. You can cross one or the other, but you cross them both.
You ain't walking away.
Find out what your internal organs actually look like. Thanks for that fantastic joke, Alex. That's wow. I think about that and my mind just goes woo to funny things. But let's come back and let's go to our second whiteboard of the day. Okay, folks, here we are at whiteboard number 2, and we're going to go with Alex's joke of the day. And of course, we don't stick to that premise, but we will use it as a guideline and then go the way we go. You know how that works.
So when I come across this joke, it made me think of like how funny would it be if you kind of see like a mangled corpse of like a professor. You know, he's maybe there's a bone sticking out. I don't know. His head is here. He's just maybe there's a little bit of blood. Nothing terrible, but it's like he's in a lab. You know, you see like whatever's going on here, and whether it be the door or whatever, but like something broke through and got out, and there's maybe some bloody footprints here. I imagine the punchline I come up with was, you know what? We'll type this one. So let me. I mean, this is dark, but it's really funny. The fact that it was a success, you know. So thank you, Frank. That was whiteboard number 2. That was really fun.
That was fun.
That was a good one.
Some of them are a little painful. That was just fun.
That was fun. We beginning to end, it flowed, and it's good. That is the darker side of Abnormalville, right?
Just a little bit, yeah.
So this brings us to our final segment of the day, which is Did You Know?
Did you know? Did you know?
So Frank, give us today's Did You Know?
Okay, did you know we are in wintertime, right? So I wondered while we're out for a drive, what in the world, there's all these geese still here and it's cold. Do they not fly south for the winter? What is going on? So inquiring minds need to know.
You know, I'm glad you're doing this because I wondered the same exact thing. I'm like, why are these guys still?
So if we're both wondering it, everybody's wondering it.
So I'm excited to hear this one, Frank. I'm excited to hear it.
So we're going to talk about the Canada goose, right? In spring and summer, we'll just go a little bit of background on the Canada goose. Insert the animal music here. And then the loon. and then I'll put on my announcer's voice. In spring and summer, they feed on grasses, skunk cabbage, and etc. Right? So in summertime, they feed mostly on grasses and blades of stuff. Fall and winter, they like to feed on grains, you know, from the harvested fields, and berries. They find a lot of berries. And they love corn. Figure that out. Now, the goose, after they hatch, at 2 days old, they're already walking and swimming. Imagine that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they got it rocking. And what, our kids take like a year? Imagine if a little gosling is like 4 days old. Oh, what's wrong with Junior? He's not swimming yet. He's only 4 days old. So at 1 year, they start having relationships. They start playing the field, but it's rare that any of these relationships are permanent, right?
They start playing the field.
They start
playing the pond.
Literally,
baby.
They're out in the field. Yeah. Hey. And then at 3 years old, they choose a mate for life. It's just the most common in amongst geese. And they don't breed until 4 years old. Yeah, so they got
a lot of foreplay.
And then the female selects the nest, right? Pretties it up and everything, does her interior decorating. And the female incubates the eggs, nurtures them for the first week, does all the motherly stuff. And the father guards the nest. That's what he does. Guarding the
They're
nest.
mean, man. Geese are not friendly.
Yeah, don't mess with the father goose, boy. Don't come near that nest. They fly in a classic V formation, right? Everybody's seen that. That's aerodynamic. It makes sense that way. The most experienced geese are at the front. Somebody has watched geese for a long time and has figured this all out. The guy has a lot of spare time. They also fly through the night. They'll fly like 24 hours straight.
Wow.
When they're migrating, yeah. And it's not hard for them, right? And then, but why do they stay up here when it's cold? It doesn't make sense. So one theory is that in the old days, hunters would use geese as decoys by clipping their wings so they couldn't fly. And then put them in the pond, and they just sit there and swim around, and they can't fly. And other geese come by. Oh, look, there's George. Let's go say hi. And bad things happen. Right? So, but then eventually those geese that with their wings clipped will breed. And so they have goslings, and the parents stick around. So the goslings do as well. Starts a culture of, hey, we don't have to fly south. Parents are still here. All geese need to survive up here in winter is open water. So you have them staying up north here because of they only have to have fresh water, and they can withstand some pretty cold temperature. Doesn't bother them. You know, they got the goose down. You have a goose down jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah. See? So a combination of those two things with the decoys and the open water, and that's why they stay up here when they feel like it.
All of that happened because hunters were being really just, I got to say, that's pretty sadistic, mean. And
well,
just,
yeah.
So they messed with nature, and now it actually it changed the migration patterns.
It changed
of
migration habits of a lot of geese. Yeah.
How long ago did that happen? Do we know?
Oh, that'd be like a century ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, I do find, like I said, I've always wondered why some of them stick around and others do not, and now we know.
Yeah. No.
Thank you for that, Frank. That's wild. Oh, before we go, we need to announce that we're going to add another page or more to the website. A whole new section. We're thinking we're going to call it Other Stuff.
Yep. Emphasis on the stuff. Because it's going to be all encompassing, right? It's just going to, whatever maybe some of our hobbies are. I'll throw some music on, you'll throw some extra art on.
Yep.
And we'll have different categories inside our other stuff.
It'll be fun because, Frank and I do so much like Abnormalville is our little pet side project that we love, and we hope it can go other places. But with all that being said, Frank is a very accomplished musician. I do other artwork and things like that. And maybe we can include the stories and just, day-to-day life stuff, a blog section. Yeah. I think it'll be fun.
Oh, I know it'll be fun.
That is abnormalville.net or abnormalville.com. You can go to either one and it'll be cool. I'm excited about doing that. And Frank, thank you again, man. This was fun as always. Stellar show. First show of 2021.
Wow.
Breaking out of a crazy year and leading into yet, if you're in the States, another crazy year. Woo. All right, my friend, thanks again. And thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
And now we're leaving, we gotta go. And now we're leaving, it's the end of our show. We had a good time, it's come to an end. good time, my friend. And now we're leaving. That's the end of our show. And now we're leaving. We gotta go.